Hey everyone. This is a story about taking a subject that people were totally tuning out of and getting them to tune in by making a smash hit podcast. I'm Carolyn Walker. I'm the CEO and managing partner of an agency in New Haven called Response. I'm a brand strategist. I'm an occasional guest speaker and lecturer like I'm doing today. And I'm a podcast marketer working on podcasts like you, Zero to IPO, Curious City, and Flame Bearers. And today I'm here to share a case study about Hackable, an original podcast from our client, McAfee. And what you'll get today is just a little bit of background and a few tips that I wanted to share with you that you can take to your own podcast. Let's first rewind to 2016. We had been working with McAfee for about 10 years, and throughout this time, we were faced with one really persistent challenge, and that is that nobody wants to think about cybersecurity, not then, not now. And it's really right up there with doing taxes or even going to the dentist. It's horrible. But we knew that the more educated people are around cybersecurity, the less risk they have in getting hacked or having their identity stolen. So we thought we would use the power of audio to intimately connect the audience to the McAfee brand and engage them with stories about cybersecurity in this relatively new at the time and uncluttered medium. So, in this universe of about 500,000 podcasts, we were really the only one that was bringing entertaining cybersecurity podcasts to listeners. So, my first tip for you is to own a unique space in the podcast universe. Really go after an ownable niche amongst the now 1.8 million podcasts that are out there. Our mission for Hackable was to first be brand building, be educational, but mostly is to be entertaining. And so we did that by partnering with Pacific Content. And they were our partners on the production audio storytelling side. They're experts at it. And we came up with a very unique show format together. It's a combination of, recreating hacks in pop culture, like from Mr. Robot, putting those hacks to test, Mythbusters style, and then ending the show with some cybersecurity advocacy. And no one had this show format when we came out with Hackable. It was very unique and ownable creative position that we took. So tip number 2 is to get help if you need it. Our show would not be nearly as successful as it has been without the partnership with Pacific Content. And tip number 3 is to exercise creative bravery. And what I mean by that is really ask yourself often, would you listen to this if you were involved in it? This is what we did, and it made our story and our show so much stronger. Before you launch, make sure you've got the show branded, put together, some really strong branding. And as you're doing the branding, also look at your show and episode artwork and make sure that it's standing out in the crowd of all these other podcasts that are in the apps. And while audio trailers are obviously critical, they're a must-have, think about a video trailer as well that you can share on YouTube and in your social channels. And then also website is critical, another critical piece. And it's a great place to have behind the scenes and bonus content that you can direct your listeners to. Launch marketing, do everything you possibly can to surround your audience with the message about your podcast. We did this in 4 ways. First was with paid advertising, heavily investing in podcast advertising. Using some earned in the form of public relations and social sharing. Also using owned, know that the podcast itself is a resource for you. Ask your listeners to rate and review you and share it with their friends. And lastly, internal, definitely use your teammates, ask your partners, your family and friends to share it, to listen and share. And lastly, measure and optimize everything that you do. We did this. These are a few of our success metrics on Hackable. And had we not, measured everything that was going on and understanding how we were getting to the downloads that we were achieving, we wouldn't have gotten to be one of the top 1% podcasts on the planet. So my fourth and last tip for you is to commit everything you possibly can to promoting your podcast and building listenership. And I would say if you can only do one thing, if you can afford to do one thing, seriously consider in podcast advertising. Thank you so much for listening to me and watching me. Again, my name is Carolyn, and if you'd like some more tips or more information about this case study, just email me at carolyn@response.agency with case study in the subject line, and I'd be happy to share more. Thanks again so much. Take care. Bye.